Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to a Friday stream. We're going to be working on Listed today, and I think I'm going to sing you a song. It's been a while since I sing a song, so we're going to try it. We're going to do our best. I do need to turn off noise cancellation. Let's see. Thank you, Dr. Phantom. Thank you for that resub. Can you hear that okay? I didn't practice either. All right, so I'm going to do my best. Oh, hello, friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Oh, hello, friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. We're going to grow our coding skills one day at a time. We're not afraid to make mistakes or fall out of line. We're going to break things down, build them back up. We're going to learn lots of things. It's going to be really fun. Oh, hello, friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Oh, hello, friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. All right, we did it. I was all right. I give myself a B+ on that. Welcome in, everyone. Glad to see you. Let's write some code. Let's talk about some stuff. Oh, I need to adjust my... Everything's broken. Everything's broken. Give me a second. I need to fix Streamlabs really quick. Stream over. E minus? Thanks, America 2050. Let's see. Okay. That should be fixed. All right. Welcome to the show. Let me tell you about the app that we're working on. So it's called Listed. It lets you create lists of YouTube channels. And right now, you can log in with Google. So if you click this, it does the OAuth flow. We're using Auth.js for that. You get redirected back, and then you can create lists. So, for example, one of the lists I created was the Coding Garden universe. And this has both my main channel and my archive channel. Subscribe on YouTube if you have not yet to both channels. But this one page now shows videos from both channels. You can see that it has archive stuff and main channel videos all on one page. And some other examples are like I like to watch Good Mythical Morning on YouTube, but they have a lot of channels. So this list has all of their channels: Ear Biscuits, Good Mythical More, Rhett and Link, Dispatches from Myrtle Beach, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, Trevor Talks Too Much. All of the Good Mythical Morning channels are all on this list. And so now you have one page that shows you all the videos from them. Thoughts on Google Project Tailwind? I have no idea. I didn't watch Google I/O, so I have no idea. No thoughts. So yeah, this is Listed. Last time we set up end-to-end tests with Playwright. Some of the main work we basically had to do were to make sure that our Docker containers were running whenever the end-to-end test started up. And we also created like a specific test Docker compose file. So that way, every time the end-to-end tests run, there's a brand new Postgres and Redis environment for the test to run inside of. So we set that up last time, but what I want to do this time is set up code coverage reports. So if you haven't heard of code coverage, it is essentially how much of your code, it's a metric of how much of your code is covered by tests. And Instanbul is one of the popular code coverage tools. If you've ever seen an output like this, basically what it says is it tells you a specific file in your code base and the number of statements, branches, functions, and lines, and percentage of each that is covered by a test. And so typically in a production environment, in a code base with a big team, you have some kind of code coverage requirements to make sure that you're at least writing tests for as much as you can. Yeah, Istanbul, not Constantinople, exactly. So we're gonna set this up, and right now we probably have like 2% code coverage. So that's the plan. I haven't even thought about deploying or hosting yet. We'll probably do Versal. I don't see why we wouldn't do Versal. We'll have to pick a spot to deploy our database. We'll probably use Neon for that. They do serverless Postgres, so we'll probably use Neon for our database. And then I think you can get a free Redis instance from the actual Redis people. So we'll probably do that for Redis. What's your work in project page, Oscar? Oh, for the live stream in Amsterdam. I think I did. I haven't got it yet. And Anonymous, thank you for that gift to Oscar. You're very kind. You're very kind. But yeah, I'm probably gonna use a service called Anti-Scuff for IRL streaming. They provide well, that's not it. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. They provide cloud OBS hosting, and I'm probably gonna go with a service like this just because I'll end up using it even after Amsterdam, because there's like a setup fee, but then they have relay servers everywhere. They have decent prices, so I'll probably use Anti-Scuff. And thank you, Ronev. Thank you for that resub. We're now stepping up our tests with adding mutation tests. Ever done this? Not sure what you mean by that. So like a lot of times mutation is in the context of like post requests and stuff like that. So you're saying that you're testing things in your app that modify data in your database. Is that what you're saying? Because yeah, we do that. We do that. I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we're going to. What is this, Oscar? Oh. Sure, I don't know. Here's the thing. The moment I deploy, people are going to want to start using the app, and that's why I don't want to deploy yet, because then I'm going to have to start dealing with issues, bug reports, and I'm already dealing with issues and bug reports for developers. Imagine the amount of issues and bug reports found by real people. So that's why I'm probably never going to deploy. It's always just going to be running on my computer. The first thing we're going to do today is look at some of the issues and PRs that got open since last time. Some people made some comments about the end-to-end testing. I'm exaggerating. I'll deploy eventually, but never. one day. Here's the thing: you don't have to build your own. You can deploy this. Go the code is open source. Literally, just go clone it and deploy it yourself. We also could just turn this into an Electron app where there is no deployed server and it just does everything locally. That could be interesting. I don't know, but we're going to get right into it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these issues, try and clear those up. Basically, there were potentially cross-platform issues and issues with not not pulling down the Docker containers after running the tests. I'm pretty sure we did like a force recreate. Yeah, this force recreate, which will shut down the previous instance. So some people were complaining about the test staying up, or sorry, about the Docker containers staying up, but this force recreate should fix that. So let's look at that. Oh yeah, and then thank you for all the supports today. I didn't get to call these out. You're probably not here right now, but all these people resubbed during the interview on Wednesday, and I didn't have notifications up. So thank you, Shaw, Eddie, and the Wrong Missy for your resubs. Fob, thank you for the Prime, the 8 months. Mr. T. McGush, thank you for the 11 months. Dr. Phantom, thank you for the 5 months. Ronev, thank you for the 13 months. And Anonymous, thank you for that gift. And Arpats, thank you for the 7 months as well. If you got, and there we go. Prilvio, thank you for the Prime as well. And Anonymous, thank you for the gift to Farshid. Listen, everybody, listen. If you got a Prime, I'll take it. I mean, how many subs do I have right now? I have 262 subscribers on Twitch, and if we're going by, let's say that they're all I get half of what you pay, so I am making $655 a month on Twitch. So if you think I should be making more, sub with Prime or gift subs. Okay, let's look at these. First of all, we'll look at the pull requests, because I think one of the pull requests closed some of the issues. I think this is a good one from Folsom. So, yeah, for me in my country, that is a quarter of what I pay in rent. So, that's what that is. Okay, let's see what Folsom Geek did here to ensure that Playwright was installed. So npx Playwright install. I'm curious what happens if you run Playwright install if you've already done it. Let's see. Because I'm pretty sure I've done it. Oh, it's an instant. Okay, I'll accept this then. Because basically what they do is they just updated the npm script to run playwright install. Yeah. And Mr. White, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. Yeah, so if you already have it installed, it skips it. I like that. And thank you, Folsom Geek. Thank you for the the PR here. This is a good one. And Anonymous, thank you for the gift to Bajosi. What's up, Fun Planet? Welcome in. Okay. Thank you for that, Folsom Geek. Albert last also added Docker up, Docker down for dev. So this is what I was talking about. I don't think we need this just because we do wait, they just added the cat. Oh, I see. I see. So they made it easier to run it when we're in development. And Eddie, thank you for the gift to Sledge Dog. I appreciate that. I also discovered that if you use PNPM, you get TypeScript errors. That's unfortunate. I mean, honestly, that's why I don't use PNPM. Is like every now and then there's just like this random bug, and so I was like, yeah, I'll just stick to npm. But yeah, I get it. Thank you for this, Albert. So basically, right now, if I want to start up the dev Docker container, I run it manually like this. But if we have a script for that, that would be great. So we'll move that in. And what's up, Mr. Extremely? No, we did Docker last time. We have a specifically have a test container. Test containers, which run our Postgres and our Redis database. So last time we set all of that up. Yeah, and then Albert added GitHub OAuth. I don't know how I feel about this, so I'm going to think about it, Albert, before I merge it in. Because this is... Now, it would be possible to use the app without a YouTube account, without a Google account. There are going to be some features that we add where you must have a YouTube account or a Google account. I'm open to adding other OAuth providers, but yeah, we need to run this by the auth team. Also, you added test IDs. So we need to run this by the QA team because we talked about test IDs last time. So yeah, Albert, I'll leave your PR open. I'll just have to think about it. I'm not going to merge it immediately. Cool. Okay, so there were 2 issues open. Can't create a commit on Windows. Pre-commit hook throws an error. Can't find module npx CLI. I have no idea why you would be coming across this. Anybody on Windows that wants to debug this, maybe you can take a look, but they're literally having an issue running npx. That's crazy. And then you mentioned a workaround? What is SIGPath? Oh, nice, said the penguin. Chilling by the pool. Glad to hear it. It is raining here and cold. It rains so much. It rains so much here. Okay, so yeah, I guess this is like a specific terminal issue. I'll leave the issue open though, so that way if somebody gets that same error, they can see how you solved it. Windows GitHub desktop client issue. I see. If the test failed, the Docker container will never go down. I have to look at the Twitch chat for this because it's... You need to do playwright test and Docker compose down. The semicolon says do the next... Does this mean do the next command regardless of the previous? Or regardless of how the previous exited? The thing is, though, I guess that's true that it doesn't... yeah, I guess you're totally right. It's not going to run the test here. Is that accurate though? Does semicolon run them simultaneously, or semicolon says do the one on the left and then do the one on the right regardless? Okay. Okay, we'll use semicolon for that. Thank you. So now the test should go down no matter what. Let's try it. npm run test end to end. So it should spin the containers up. It waits until they're ready to connect. It then migrates the database. Cool. Ooh. Error while running the seed command. Maybe my containers weren't down like before. Let's try again. They weren't, because that just ran the initial migration. That was the issue. So we actually just fixed it by killing the Docker containers, because when we spin the Docker containers down, the DB gets completely wiped out because there's no volumes here. All right, we need to upgrade our Prisma client. Maybe we'll do that first, but this was a good fix. This adding the semicolon here, because that kills the tests. Yeah, kills the tests. No, sorry, kills the containers when the tests finish. Okay, great. I'll commit this. I think I also want to do like a package upgrade. We do this every stream, but let's see what all needs to be upgraded. Everything. Should I trust it? Why not? We have tests. Here's the thing, we have tests. So if we run the tests and the tests pass, should be fine, right? Should be fine, right? Yeah, you could. You can probably get PNPM to work, and most of the time it's going to be faster than NPM. But it's like I find all the edge cases. It's like the like there's two different times I tried to start using PNPM, and the day I tried to start using it, I ran into issues, and I was like, I don't want to debug this if I know that it already works with NPM. So, okay, we're gonna run the type check. Okay. And we'll run the linter. Okay. And we'll run the formatter. Code style issues found in 11 files. I don't really want to format these files as a part of this commit. That's okay. They're just warnings. And then let's run the tests. You don't understand PNPM fully. In the simplest terms, it just, instead of copying a library to every project on your computer where you do an npm install, it just links it to one place on your computer. That's the main thing. But there are some dependencies that think they're running in the context of like npm and the node modules folder. So that's why PNPM has to actually create the node modules folder and like put some stuff inside of it. Because libraries think that you're using npm and think that it's set up in the node modules way where everything is in the same folder. I got 3 TypeScript errors with PNPM. Fascinating. That's the part you're not clear on? Yeah, it's just some libraries that are installed into the node modules folder depend on other dependencies being in that same node modules folder. So if they're just creating a symlink to somewhere else on your computer, those libraries would break. Okay, the test seemed to pass, and we upgraded, so that's good. So we updated dependencies. And fix E2E script. What about vulnerabilities? So that gets auto-checked whenever you do an npm install. And these are our pre-commit hooks running. So the pre-commit hooks are actually running all of those commands that I just ran manually. Type check, lint, test. But it's good that we have those. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna push to main, and I'll close Albert's issue. Oh, I forgot. Oh no. Oh no. We're gonna have a merge conflict. We got a merge conflict. Not gonna lie, I hate pre-commit hooks. That's fine, just don't run them. You can do -- no verify and then let them run on the CI server. But it's not very environmental of you, because now you're causing a server to spin up to run all the tasks that you could have run locally on battery power, possibly. All right, how do we merge these two? We, what's the difference? Murdoch, thank you for that tier 2. Yeah, like GitHub pay the bills. Oh, this one does playwright, npx playwright install. This one has the semicolon. Okay, yeah. So well, yeah, we just want the current change, right? I thought I pulled the changes down. Run test, run init. Okay, so this says Docker down, Docker up. This says Docker up. Because Docker up does the force recreate, so it shouldn't have to do Docker down. All right, I'm just gonna go with the current change and then make sure that we have the semicolons here. Like that. And then while we're here, we're gonna reorganize these so they're all in the same place. Cool. I don't know why I put a bug, but that's fine. The merge editor is more friendly. I don't know what that is. And welcome in, Coder Girl. Thanks for the lurk. Only need Docker up -d. We were finding that it wouldn't recreate it. Well, we basically want it to spin down and then spin back up, because by spinning down, it removes all of the temporary volumes and everything, and we need that because we need a fresh container every time the end-to-end tests run. Okay, now I'm on a detached head. What's going on here? Cool. VS Code has a separate merge editor? Good to know. Wait. Bypassing rule violations. At least one approving review is required by reviewers with write access. I've never seen that before. But I think the push worked. I think our latest code is up here. Yeah, okay. We merged in. Great. Fantastic. That means I should be able to close this one from Albert, because now, no matter what, it runs Docker down. What's up, Unknown? Welcome in. I want to link the commit. Need to find a typo. Yeah, I'll check it out, Origin. All right. I think that's it for everything I needed to at least review and merge first. There's a 3-way merge editor. So you can see the like the two things that are being merged above and like your latest code below. Fascinating. Okay, I think we're good. Let's set up code coverage reports. So I found this article. It's from Hasib Majid, and it sets up Istanbul code coverage reports in a SvelteKit app. So I'm going to follow this blog post. This was posted April 15th, so it's fairly recent. And I'm just going to follow this because basically what I want is I want to know how much of my code base has end-to-end tests how much of my code base are touched by end-to-end tests. So when we spin up the end-to-end tests, are there pieces of my app that are not covered? And I know that there are. I know there are because we've only tested like the home page, the login redirect, and that's about it. So like there's a whole subset of routes, especially like in here, that haven't been tested yet, and I want to know that. I want to see that in a report that tells me, hey, these files are not covered by any tests in the Istanbul the code coverage report will say that. The Istanbul code coverage report. I'm having trouble with words today. But regardless, let's follow this blog post. Here we go. Vite plugin Istanbul is what we want. Let's install it. And we'll check out a branch. Yeah, and so there's something we can do to also integrate this with GitHub, where the code coverage reports will actually be like printed out along with all of like the test runs and everything else. So I think they talk about setting that up in here. Yeah, so they do it with GitLab CI, and they have this thing called cobertura coverage. I think that like displays the report. We'll figure out something like that. We'll figure out something like that once we get it all set up. Okay, so we have a separate branch. Let's install this Vite plugin Istanbul. So when you generate a SvelteKit app, it is using Vite by default. All right, so in our Vite config, we can set all of this up. And what they do is they add the Istanbul plugin right there. And then right after SvelteKit, they call the Istanbul plugin like that. But they do include options. So let's look at the options. Include everything in the source directory. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, am I okay with that? Do we want to test? Yeah, I guess we're not going to be testing our Prisma seeds. Anything that needs to be tested is in the source directory. Well, nice, Mayafum from Istanbul. Very good. This tool is called Istanbul. So we don't want to look at node modules. We don't want to look at testices with an S, testices. And we're going to look at any TS file, any Svelte file. And just to be safe, any JavaScript file too. Okay. In theory, we should just be able to use require env true and then pass the Vite coverage to environment variable to our playwright test job. So instead, I just set the force build instrument. Now this always instrument our builds with Istanbul. However, we can do something like process.env.nodeenv equals test, which will only run nodeenv. Yeah, I want to do this because we already have a oh yeah, nice job, Eddie. Nice job. I believe there's a spot in our code where we're testing, like if we're in the test environment, do a specific thing, like in our seeds, I do believe. Well, I guess in our main seed intro. Yeah, what's up, Coding Evolution? I'm good. I'm doing good. So if the node env to lowercase is test, then we'd run our test seed. So I think we can actually do a similar thing here. Include this plugin. Will this work if I put undefined, it'll probably error out. So here's what I want to do. like that. Okay. Yeah, so always include the SvelteKit plugin, but if we're in test, include the Istanbul plugin. Now, why is this complaining? This returns a promise? What? I'm having a really hard time understanding this type error. I do have Copilot, it's just not turned on right now. Um, I guess, I mean, I guess I'll write this in a different way. Something like plugins are going to be this, and then we just have a straight if statement that pushes into plugins. Like that. But I need to give it the right type. So, plugin option array. I don't know. Okay, so it works this way. I don't know why it didn't like my concat. But this is what we want. Okay. Do a conditional spread inside the array. I guess that could work too. I guess I didn't understand your message initially. So like spread, if true, this, otherwise spread nothing, like instead of a concat. Probably Albert. I didn't know this was there. So, to configure vtest itself, add a test property. We are not configuring vtest right now. We are configuring playwright in the test environment. We're going to get to vtest stuff probably next time. I have pretty TypeScript errors. They're just still not helpful. Like that's why I scrolled all the way down. I might have a different plugin. Let's see what I have. Yeah, so I have them. It just didn't help. It was like I don't know why it wanted it was saying I had a promise array of plugins. Okay, good to go. Now we need to go into our test folder and add a new base fixtures thing. So, basically what this does is it gives us a test command that we're going to use in all of our other tests. And so that way, every time we run tests, so right now, if you look at our end-to-end tests, like this, they import test from playwright test. But what we're going to do now is we're going to set this up, and then we'll use this test instead, because now before every test, it sets up the Istanbul coverage report and stuff. So here we go, copy paste. And what's up? I can't escape JavaScript. Glad to see you. Welcome in. So we're bringing in test as base test. Unexpected any. We'll allow the any. I'm not going to try to fix the types inside of here. Unexpected dangling underscore. Listen. Okay. And then this doesn't like my 408 of. Okay. So when we run the test, it will add a script which collects the Istanbul coverage. Fascinating. A lot of stuff going on in there, but it seems like it'll do what it needs to do. We'll see, anyways. But now all of our end-to-end tests, instead of importing expect and test from playwright test, we import them from base fixtures. Yeah. We don't need the .ts because we are in module land. Built module land. Cool. So now every test needs these instead. Seems fine. Now we run the tests. So npx nyc report coverage. Oh, I see. So this shows the output after running the test. So let's run the test first. And the result of this test should generate a coverage report, or it will crash. I have no idea. We'll see. Thank you, CodeBrains. I got some new hats. New colors. No tests found. Cannot find module base fixtures. Did I call it the wrong thing? I guess it has to be well, no, it's a TypeScript file. There's type annotations in here, and like, I don't like this, but so I think I have to do .ts in here. NYC, I think, is the type of and Roga, thank you for the tier 1. When are we getting Coding Garden rubber ducks? I don't know. We should get some though. I think that'd be some good merch. I think NYC is the name of the report type. Istanbul is the coverage creator thingy. Allow import. I think I need to do this. I think it needs the TS extension because these tests are potentially. Let's try it with the TS extension. And then if this works, we'll add allow extensions to our TS config. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that should have generated a coverage report. Well, there's an empty folder. It's an empty folder. There's no coverage. We might have to do a bit more debugging. But it did generate this folder. What else should it have generated? Should create a new file, nyc output. It's empty. All right, let's fix this error though, because it wants allow importing TS extensions in the TS config. We'll add that. Yeah, big long bill at the grocery store, or like the receipt. Okay, let's run it one more time, but I don't think we actually got any output. And is this the thing that's creating the output? So write the file playwright coverage uuid.json. Okay, test ran, test passed. There's nothing in that folder. We'll try this. Let's see. We're gonna run this command. Yeah, there's no coverage reports. Okay, we're missing something. What's up, Andreas? Welcome in. Oh, are we setting the node env to test? We might not be because I forgot about this, but we're actually setting. I think we're setting the node env to test somewhere. Where are we setting that? Here. So we set it to test before doing the db seed. We need to make sure we also do it when the tests are running. I mean, it should have already been set though. Let's make sure. What's up, Freddie? Welcome in. You changed your phone number and don't have access to your authenticator anymore? That seems bad. It seems like you're gonna have to reset everything. I don't know how to help you. All right, did it add? Okay. Vite Istanbul. Source maps was automatically enabled. And now do we have coverage? We do. Okay, so that was it. Basically, the test env wasn't being set until I added it in the script. But now we have coverage reports. So if we run this command, would you look at that? Do it again. Would you look at that? Currently, wait. So basically, if our tests don't visit a page, they don't get listed here. Because there are more routes under protected. There's also like the create page, the edit page. I want to see those listed here, and I want to see like 0% coverage. Cool. Okay, so this is good. This is a good first step. But I need to figure out how to run coverage on everything, not just the stuff that was touched by the test. SEO.svelte looking good. Where's it at? Yeah. 100%. 100% coverage. Report coming live from NYC. Yeah. Okay. I'm actually in the past I've seen coverage reports as in like an HTML file that you can open up that like shows you the code that shows you the coverage specifically of the source code. So I'm curious how we can get that output. But I do want to add NYC output. I think I want to add this to my git ignore. I don't think I want to commit the coverage reports. How does it even calculate this stuff? Basically, when the code is running, it taps into like every line of code that is run during the test. So if a test doesn't touch a specific line of code in a file, That's why the percentage is lower. So the fact that page.svelte is only 36%, so lines 20 through 33 are not covered. So if we look at lines 20 through 33 in page.svelte, we can see how it figured that out. Page.svelte 20. Is that the right path? Yeah, routes page.svelte 20 through 23. Yeah, so I mean that makes perfect sense because we have not written a test yet where the test user has a list. Right now, there are no lists, so only this stuff is displayed. And then probably this area right here, I mean, it's probably iterating over an empty list, but yeah. But that's basically it rendered this page. It saw what code was executed, but it did see that, hey, there was no length, so this little line of code right here didn't get executed. Okay. SvelteKit versus Next. There's just so much that Next doesn't have. It provides a lot, but there's still a lot that it doesn't provide. Do an HTML reporter. I like that. Let's see. All right. Now we have a coverage directory. Ooh. You can see like it copied all of our code in. But the reason that it did that is so that it can display it. But now if we go into the coverage folder and we just run an HTTP server, cool. And this is cool because now you can actually click around and it will literally show you the lines of code. So anything in red didn't get run or wasn't touched by a test. Yeah. So that's cool. And so now you can also see the number of times a specific piece of line of code was run. So we have 3 different tests. So it would make sense that some of these things are run 3 different times. But how does it know? You're going to have to look into the library. I mean, the fact that it's a Vite plugin means it has access to all of our source code. So it can basically tap into when anything is specifically getting run. It's its job to know. Yeah. HTTP server is just a global NPM thing. It's this. This is what I just ran to get an HTTP server. For covering uninstrumented files, I think you need the include set to star. All right, where's our include set? Also, I think I need to add coverage to my git ignore as well. So, but the include we specified in our Vite config. Yeah, so right now it says include, **/*, maybe? Yeah, I think I wanted **/*. Let's see. Do I have to run it again? Pack that behind npm run test. The include? Okay. Okay, yeah, so that didn't work. We'll go back to src/. For the NYC, oh, I see. So when I run this command, we need to add we need a dash dash include. All, dash dash all. I'm having a hard time parsing this fat wall of text. Okay. NYC will instrument all files with the dash dash all flag is set, or if running NYC instrument. So right now we are running NYC report. Exclude after remap false dash dash all. Oh, you can create an NYC config. Fascinating. What test runner am I using? Playwright. No, Playwright, not vtest. There's a lot of configs in this repo for sure. We'll collect coverage for every file in the source directory regardless. Will Istanbul also cover vtest? Yeah, I think we potentially we would need a different thing. So right now, this test fixtures we created were for Playwright. We potentially would need to do the same thing for vtest, or it might already have that just built in. But yeah, we're gonna need, because this specifically is doing it for Playwright. We want to eventually we'll do it for vtest as well. But can I just create a config file that looks like this? So if I do like nyc.config.json, is that what this is saying? Because it's saying, I guess I'll try. nyc.config.json, like that. All true. Include source/js/ts and /svelte. Ignore anything that has test in the name. All right, so now if I have this config file, is there a way to specify it from the command line? Configuration files. We went with JSON and I called it the wrong thing. So we need to call it .nycrc.json. You're right. Yeah, we'll do both JS and TS. There's a lot of dot files. I'm just it's probably in there somewhere. But now that I have this file, will it just pick it up? So if I run this command, does it pick it up? Or do I need to specify it? Tempter, exclude, include. There's a Stack Overflow question that resolves that. Well, you wanna link it to me? Do you wanna send me a link? You can send links in the chat. Yeah, dash dash. The HTML reporter worked, but the same thing. It's missing the coverage for the files that didn't have that weren't touched. Okay. This is for Karma. What are you doing with Playwright? Playwright Istanbul coverage all files. Oh, good call, Bicepti. Well, the thing is, so I thought I just would run this command because right now, it's basically outputting. I guess maybe it'll overwrite it. Let's try again. You're right. We'll try again. We'll run the tests, then we'll run the thing. Yeah, we have all true set in that config file. Config engineer? I mean. No, that didn't do it. That directory's getting real busy. Oh, is that an Istanbul config? Thank you, Kubajiro. I want to look at well, not that. The Istanbul coverage options. This. We've got include, exclude, extension, require env, Cypress, check prod, current working directory, NYC RC path. Oh. What if we said like that? So we tried this earlier. So we did includes */ I mean, maybe does this accept an array? Because we can do this as well. Like that. And then now we're pointing it at that. Include all sources true. Well, let's see if that did anything for us. Run the tests. We'll try it with this. Include all sources true. No, so it's missing all the routes under protected. Am I running the instrument command? I guess I'm running the report command. Because it's saying the instrument command uses -- all. Oh, sorry to hear that, Codex. Yeah, I've been doing a ton of yard work this week. I've been trying to take breaks. So, how would it see them if those files never load in tests? I don't know. um, do I need to run the instrument command? Oh, I think it was last week. I replaced an outdoor faucet, so that was a fun adventure. I learned about frost-proof faucets, which they use here in Colorado. Yeah, sounds like an open issue with Istanbul. No, no. um, what proof? Frost proof, like frozen. Like basically in the winter, if there's water left over in the faucets that are exposed on the outside of the house, they could freeze and then like the pipe could burst. But these faucets are designed to, um, first of all, make sure that all the if you as long as you disconnect the hoses, that all of the water is let out of the faucet before well, like in the winter, so like it doesn't hold on to any water. But then there's also like a couple of things where like if it does freeze, then it's not going to like break the pipe. Um, but they're really weird to fix and um, weird to. But basically, you can also like buy parts to try and fix the faucet, but mine was just completely broken, like it wouldn't shut off, so I had to fully replace it. Um, yeah, but I did learn about shark bite connectors, which are these things commonly used in uh, DIY home improvement. Um, and basically it slips onto a pipe so that way you don't have to. Yeah, so I mean, I've heard that maybe you don't want to use these in your things because they might fail, but uh the faucet was connected via one, so I bought a new faucet that had one of these on the end of it so that it would reconnect. And then I there was originally a copper pipe, but I actually replaced it with PEX because I was able to cut the PEX down to the exact length I needed it. I don't know. I don't know. To configure Istanbul to report coverage for all files, you can use the include all sources option in the Istanbul configuration file. Include all sources? This one? I mean, we kind of did that. New stream about actual gardening? I'm not opposed to it. We've done a lot of work in our backyard the past few weeks. And we planted 2 Apache pepper uh, plants. I've never had Apache peppers before, but we went to the nursery. I think that's what it's called. That had like all the plants and flowers and stuff. And they had a bunch of peppers. And it says that each plant will produce about 100 peppers per season, and they're pretty spicy. So I got some of those, and I got a fooled you pepper. So I got these. They look like jalapenos, but they're actually more like bell peppers. Um, I'm gonna be peppered out. Yeah, I like hot stuff. I do like hot stuff, but my wife does not like hot stuff. So these fooled you peppers we can use to make like pico de gallo and guacamole and stuff. And they look like jalapenos, but they're not actually spicy. So we got 2 of those. How do I keep my dogs from destroying the yard and garden? We have uh, little metal fences that we put in the thing. Yeah. Um, and he's well behaved enough to not try to get past the tiny little fences. Yeah, we have the .svelte extension. We have it here in Istanbul, and we also have it in the NYC config. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, my wife has I think 2 tomato plants, and then we're trying to get some berry some was it raspberry bushes going. Yeah, Vietnamese and Thai peppers. Nice, nice. Um, so yeah, so this is our NYC RC. It has all that in there. What was I doing? I think I clicked somebody's link, didn't I? This, okay. Include all sources. True. Have it in include. There's a separate extensions. And then this says I can actually just include everything. So this is why people don't test. I mean, once you have it configured, it's probably good to go. I mean, this is my first time configuring Istanbul with Playwright and SvelteKit. So, you know, there's gonna be a learning curve. The include all sources option is only for the NYC cover command. Okay, well, be sure to include that. I think that's the one I think it's in my command that I'm running right now. This one. So report directory is coverage, temp directory is NYC output, report type is text, exclude after remap false, include all sources true. It's fine. I guess I'm not going to worry about it, but we are going to make sure that all of those pages are touched, because that's the report command. Oh, do I want to run the cover command? How do I run the cover command? I'd see you later, can't escape JavaScript. Istanbul is for code coverage, not just for end-to-end tests. You can get code coverage of your unit tests as well. Right now we're working on our end-to-end tests. NYC check coverage, NYC instrument, NYC report, NYC merge. Yeah. I haven't tried Imba. I think the syntax is too different. I think Imba is going to have a really hard time getting people to use their syntax and templating language. I mean, Svelte is already having a hard time with that, even though it's better than everything else. Did I try running NYC npm? Oh, is that what I need to do? Basically, by running. Is that real? So you tell it what the test command is going to be? It's doing it. It's doing it. Oh! Oh, that worked! That worked! Look at all our missing coverage. Nice. Okay, thank you for that, Veeb. It does say it right there. Okay. Did that also give us more? Whoa, look at all the. Okay, I'm gonna delete this entire NYC output. And I'm gonna delete this coverage folder, and we'll do it again. I guess we can also. Can we pass in the report type? Reporter. So now in my config here, if I specify the reporter as HTML, then it'll just generate the HTML directory instead of spitting it out in the console. And then I think basically I want to replicate all of this in this. And I did that wrong. It's report-dir. And then tempter. And then we specify the reporter as HTML. Exclude after remap. I don't know what that does. All right. I misspelled report. Thank you. Okay. Again. Well. Oh, I'm in the coverage directory. That's why. Wait, where am I? Here we go. It's so because I did the reporter type in the config file, I'm hoping it doesn't output the coverage to the terminal. It just stores it in those HTML files, and then we can run it from there. Okay. And now we have a coverage directory. And if we run the HTTP server here, it was cached. It was cached. I'm pretty sure it was cached. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so now these are all the things that are missing coverage. Great. I need to fix that though. So include source /*. Only look at the source directory. That's what I want. Again, no. Again. Instanbul dark. Do they have a dark theme? I might just turn on Dark Reader. Maybe now I don't need that base fixtures thing. Maybe Bicepti. Let's see what that thing is even doing. Collect Istanbul coverage. I mean, I think we still need it. Because it's the thing that's like hooking the two together. Yeah, I think we still need it. There we go. There's a command. Yeah, I wanted to disable the cache on this little HTTP server. Nice. Nice. This is better. So now we've got routes, and then that has this. But if we go to routes onboarding, then we've got this. And then routes lists by ID, we've got this. Okay, so I think this is still missing a few though, right? There are a few more protected routes that aren't listed on here. This is it's definitely connecting to the Redis client. Or maybe not, if it's not actually calling the YouTube API in the tests. I guess that's true part-time married, but I like having an HTTP server. I think we can ignore the I18 directory. I need to test translations. Well, those will get caught by type errors. Like missing translations get caught by type errors. And then testing the translation pieces, that doesn't need to touch the I18 directory. That'll just touch the files that use the translations. What's happening? Oh, I thought I was running the tests. Okay. It's still missing things. Like it's still missing all of the protected routes. It has more than before. Like these are still listed as 0% coverage. Um hmm. Do I worry about this? I think we'll at least add this option to our NYC. This is still listed, yeah. We're just working on test coverage. This is a really old issue, though. This is a issue from 2016. Tested by Adam Savage. That's funny. Okay. We'll run it one more time. Honestly, it's not that big a deal that those files aren't listed because we will test them, and then once we start testing them, we do our basic tests, then more files will be touched, and then we'll see lower coverage. All right. All right, that didn't do anything extra. Oh well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna write tests until we get to 60% of statements covered. That's the plan. I think right now, 75%. Well, the thing is, I'm on a time crunch. I'm already 30 minutes past when I wanted to end stream because I got some stuff to do. But we want to get our coverage up today. Here's what we'll do. If we think about the tests that we're doing so far, right now it opens the page for a non-logged in user. It clicks the login redirect, make sure that redirects. It loads the page as a new logged in user, and make sure that it goes to the onboarded page. Here. So when this user logs, when this is a brand new user, we need to make sure that it goes to the onboarding page. It does. Let's write another test and say onboarded new user redirected to home page after onboarding. Now, do each of these tests run in parallel? I do need to hydrate. Give me a second. Let me go get some beverage. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Pixel reflow or pixel overflow is like, we got it set up. let's just actually write some tests, because here's the thing: we don't have a boss telling us, hey, you need to get to 90% coverage. We're just adding tests because we want to code confidently. So, I honestly, I'm curious. So let's just let's add this extra test. New user redirected to home page after onboarding. If this test passes, then that means it actually, the browser still has the same cookies as the previous one. And actually, I think it will. Yeah, I think that's the issue though, Codex, is like, if you know that coverage isn't everything, right? Because you could literally have a test that just like, oh, it failed. It failed. So that means we actually do need to add the cookies. Really? But yeah, I think it's all about having the right mindset, Codex, because there are some teams that actually like don't care about the quality of their tests. They're just like trying to hit a metric of like 100% coverage. And that's not good because like, then you have like really bad, even though you have 100% coverage, like the tests that you have are really bad. That's fascinating to know. So it's actually running each of these tests in a different context. But here's what I want to do. I want to extract this into a little util called login test user, something like this. And then that way I don't have to do this every time. Is there a before each? There probably is. Is there a describe? Oh, well, I was trying to import from base fixtures. There's no describe in Playwright? Oh, I see. Here's the issue though. If I do this before each, is it only for this one file? Okay. Ooh, I lost my login code. All right, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. There it is. Okay, we want to do this. We want to grab the context from here. And then we don't need to do anything with the context here. Okay. I still want to put this in a reuse because we're going to do this in other files too. But I'll say before everything, login test user. And then we will add a utils in here. We'll export a function login test user that gets access to a context. But what is a context? It is a browser context. And then we actually want this data. And we pass in the context and we await it. And we pull this in from utils. We can extend the test. So we could add a function like login test user. I don't know how I feel about that. To do page dot add to do. Where is add to do coming from? Makes it accessible without having to import. Yeah, it's really a matter of like what's your preference. Honestly, my preference is to import. Because for like a new team member that comes along, they're gonna be like, well, where does this login test user come from? I guess if you're defining all of your extensions in a single spot, they would know to look there. But for now, I'm gonna import it. I like the import. Okay, let's see if this works. Is 30 years old too late to learn coding? Absolutely not. I used to teach at a coding school. The majority of my students were like mid 20s to early 30s, but I also had students that were in their 50s. I had a couple in their 60s. So it's never too late. Wonderful. Okay, so now we want to actually we want to click the onboard button and then make sure that they get redirected to the slash route. Cool. Yeah, Pixel Overflow. I saw your question about does everyone try to cover all branches? Do you write tests for all? You ideally you want to, right? So like the whole idea of coverage and testing is to make sure that you have tests written for every possible scenario. Because if you're only testing like one of the branches, then if something could go wrong in one of those other branches that you haven't accounted for. So yeah, ideally you want to test all branches as much as you can. Now, you can be pragmatic about it and you can say, well, that else branch is never going to get hit. So like why but the thing is it probably will. So you probably do want to write a test for it. Is there anything that'll write tests based on user inputs? Like you do the clicking and navigating and it writes the page? Yeah, we're going to do that right now. We're going to do that right now. So the Playwright has the, what is it called? The debug mode or something like that. Playwright code gen. Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. So right now I'm gonna make sure all of my servers are started up, and I'm gonna click around, and it'll write the test for me. So code gen is the thing that writes the test. So first of all, I need to make sure that my my Docker containers are up in dev. So I'm not even going to be running the test ones. So npm run docker dev, docker up dev. This is the new script that got added, but this starts the dev containers, which should have all of my data and everything else. And then we start up our Svelte server, and this is running in dev. This is not the test server. What? Cannot read properties of null? What? Did we lose some user data here? Oh, you know, this is an issue that someone brought up before. Settings is null on the user type. All right. Honestly, this would be a great time to write a test for for this broken thing. But let's try to see if we can pinpoint it. Because right here, so this is in create user, we grab their settings. And when we're creating a session for the user, we grab it and set the session. But we set the settings to be user.settings. This is the issue. So right here, setting session. For whatever reason, user.settings is null right here. And then when it gets reached later in the code, it's null. So yeah, settings is null. Why is that? I'm pretty sure we updated our user query to include the settings property. So this is actually in our, we overrode auth. Where is it? No, we overrode the Prisma client. So get user, we modified to include settings. But it's not doing that. Oh, I mean, why am I in the coverage directory? So we've got a user. We've got lists. Why is the settings table empty? Why did that get deleted? What the heck? I guess we'll create it manually. Okay, so that user should have settings now. Something went wrong. But we're gonna set onboarded. I don't know. I don't know if that's like replicatable. Maybe it is. But now, now that our server is running and we have a user that hasn't been onboarded yet, if we run playwright code gen, point him at this URL, it'll write the test as we click around. Now, what I did last time was I do have this auth.json. I don't think there's anything secret in here, but let me get it. Where'd it go? Oh no! Is the locale table maintained? We haven't added anything like extra to it. We seeded it and haven't really touched it since then. Was I removing the user settings item during testing and then left it there? I don't think so. It's possible that like I manually deleted it. But as you saw, like the user still existed, and then when after they onboarded, they still had all of their lists. So like the data for the database is all there, for except for the settings for some reason. Okay. I thought I had an auth.json file. I guess I don't. I'll have to do this manually again. But give me a second. I'll have to manually log in over here. Okay, we're back. So here I ran playwright. Um, in code gen mode. And I've pointed it at my dev server. So right now the server is running here, but you can see that it's basically, I guess once I click record, anything I do over here, it's gonna write the test code for that. So if I click on this button, let's go. It clicked it, and now we're on this page. I mean, this this isn't amazing. I could have wrote this myself, but once you have more complex tests, this will definitely come into play. Because now, in the onboarding tests, we can actually click the onboarding button. Like this. And so the new user hasn't been onboarded yet. They go to the onboarding page, they click the onboarding button, and then they should be redirected to the home page. So that should do it. Honestly, that should do it. Let's try it. What's up, Fallen Learns? Yeah, so I'm I know that it can select more than one button. Yeah, like this. So because it resolved to do two different elements, we need to be more specific. But the issue is I didn't want to have English text here. I guess technically what we did do though is in our playwright config, we told it that it should use the English locale here. And so because it's using the English locale, when the tests run, we can be confident that the actual test on the page is going to be let's go. But if the text changes in the future, then this test would break. So we could use test IDs to select. I didn't want to use test IDs. And here's the thing, if we use test IDs, I want to find like a Vite plugin or something like that that removes those test IDs in the build. So that way when the app actually gets built, the test IDs aren't included. The other thing is, if we could use the translated strings inside of here, honestly, that would be the easiest thing to do. Yeah, and I would just have to research. I don't know if there's a Vite plugin. It probably would be like I think it would be a Vite plugin, and then we would only enable it in the build to like remove test IDs. That's the other option. The other option, and maybe we explore this, is what if we actually bring in the translated tokens and then select by their name here? And that way there's a single source of truth. Let's see if we can do it. So basically, if we look at the home page, or not even the home page, the onboarding page, which is what we're testing right now. Oh, well, that's an issue. This should actually be a translated string. So first of all, let's make it a translated string. Vite plugin React remove attributes. But we're in Svelte though. Would it still work? Not all cases tested yet. Use with care. I don't know. But first of all, let's make that a translated string. So in our app, in here for English, we'll have, yeah, on the onboarding page, let's have a label. Do we list it under label or buttons? Buttons. And we'll have a button called let's go. And now back on the page, we'll be sure to use that. So right here, instead of the text let's go, we actually want it to be onboarding dot buttons dot let's go, like that. But if I could, in my test, I want to do this right here. Is it like this? Yeah, and that's what I was talking about last time as well, Andreas. Like, query by the role and then but the issue is if there are multiple buttons on the page, we need something else to make it unique. But that's the preferred way of selecting elements versus test IDs, because if you select by role, then you're also basically you get accessibility testing for free. Versus if you use test IDs, then you're not testing for accessibility. You're testing that automated code can select elements. All right, how do we do the import over here? Import it like that. The main issue is now it's not like a listen variable. What is it? What do we have access to? Subscribe. If I use get, I can turn it into a $sign. Like that. Ooh, will this work? Let's see. So this is interesting. I feel better about this because now we don't have just hard-coded text in our tests. Now our tests are using the same text as should be represented in the rendered app. A Vite plugin to remove test IDs? That's cool. I'm not opposed to it, but I also want to avoid using test IDs as much as possible. All right, let's see if this works. Cannot find package lib. Yeah, it doesn't have, for whatever reason, it doesn't have our TypeScript rules. Copy path. Yeah, we'll do the full path. Basically, inside of the playwright tests, we don't have access to all of the same niceties of TypeScript. That should be better. Honestly, I kind of want to import it from the utils. We'll do something like this. We'll put it in utils, so that way I can just import $LL directly from utils. Like that. So now we export it, and then we can just use it instantly. Will this work? Nope. Cannot find module. Oh no. Because now that module tries to import another module and it doesn't have like the .ts extension. Oh no! How can I import my code in a playwright test? Yeah, because like it goes to find this, which is here, but then this tries to import from here, but because it doesn't have the file extensions, it doesn't know what to do. Let's Google this or DuckDuckGo it. But basically, we need Playwright with TypeScript to be able to import without the extension. Um, Maybe we need a separate TypeScript config for our Playwright. So here I have, well, allow importing TS. That's one thing, but do I need type module? Yeah, we have type module in our package.json. Isn't it ESX standard to include extensions now? Yes, if you're purely using ECMAScript modules, but we're using a build tool which does like the auto importing. So like, I mean, there's no like we'd have to update our entire code base to add extensions everywhere. I don't want to do that. I want it to figure out. I want Playwright to be able to do the same thing that our code base is doing, basically. Do we have a module command? Yes, next. No, I don't think I want that. TypeScript with ESM. You can opt into using ESM by setting type module in your package.json. That's what we have. Playwright test will switch to the ESM mode once it reads the Playwright config, so make sure you have one. Playwright test follows the experimental support for ESM in TypeScript, and according to the specification, requires a file extension when importing from a module, either .js or .ts. No! Here's the thing. Okay, so if we change our TS config to be this, we would have to add file extensions everywhere. Once we did that, we technically our code base would be a little bit more modern, like because we would actually have file extensions. Yeah, sure, add extensions to the entire code base. but it literally says it right here. Like you have to have the .js or the .ts. Nice job, Veep. Nice job. The pros of switching to ESM largely outweigh the cons. Yeah, okay. Sometimes Playwright tests will not be able to transform your TypeScript code correctly. For example, when you're using first add a ts config file inside the test directory. Pre-test. This is what we would have to do if we didn't want to add file extensions everywhere. This is going to be the easiest, but it just feels so clunky. Like now we need another TS config that we have to maintain. Did we run this by the ECMAScript module team? You see, like, look how intense our TS config is. I guess maybe we don't need to recreate another one. Maybe we actually can just do. We can point Playwright at the output test directory. Oh no, so Veeb, the issue is everywhere. So I didn't point this out earlier, but literally every import that we do, including the ones in base fixtures, or I thought we were importing in there. Maybe we're not. The issue is, oh yeah, no. So when we import base fixtures, we have to do .ts. This won't work if we leave off the .ts. That was the first thing. So we added the .ts. But now we're like, okay, well, we want to import some of our own code in here, so we have to add the .ts, which is fine at the top level import. But if this file imports something that doesn't have a .ts on it, that breaks. What does the -- incremental command do? Yeah, I guess we could technically extend. Let's try that. Let's try that. So in our test directory, we could have a tsconfig that extends this tsconfig, which also extends another tsconfig. That's funny. It's tsconfigs all the way down. So extend the one in the parent in the directory above it. I mean, does it have? Let's see. What's up, Lakey? Welcome in. We have source map and everything. Yeah, we have everything. Basically, do I even need a separate TS config? I think the only thing that's going to change is the out directory. Like that. Let's see what this does. Allow importing TS extensions can only be set when either no emit or emit declaration only is set. All right. Well, we can turn that off now if we're fixing this. Yeah, now it's going to complain about the .ts. So now if we remove that, basically everywhere in our tests. So now we have to get rid of this. Oof. These all have the any type because they're from SvelteKit. Um. Well, this won't work V because these would need the file extensions. These imports too. This is fine. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like if so we had multiple options, right? The other option is to the other option is to not try to use the translation tokens. Here's a function ChatGPT generated to add extensions for imports. Oh, to like literally go into my code base and put it. I can't trust it. Like we're gonna spend an hour just adding extensions. I don't want to do that. We can. I guess we can turn off implicit anytime. Basically, I think that's what we have to do over here. In the extended TS config in our tests. Um, turn it off. Hey, okay, that's okay for the tests. Implicit any, fine, totally fine. And then we can run. Well, I guess that's gonna break. But now, if we tell it to use the tests out directory, I'm actually curious though, what got generated here? Tests out. Look at that. It's everything, all of our stuff, but it's JavaScript. Wow. Fascinating. Um, cool. But now in our package.json, whenever we do playwright test, we tell it the directory. Import require what? Tests out, tests. Cannot find module. Base fixtures. It's there. Do we need to tell it what's the setting that they did here? Um Yeah, that's what we're doing, Veep. Yeah, we're there. We just need to make sure we have all the right settings. Because now we're running into the issue where it can't import, it can't find this file. Every route gets its own TS config. But like in here, we're attempting to import relatively here, which should be basefixtures.js. We want to turn off experimental support for ESM. So how do we do that? Module. We don't want node next. We want ES next? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Why not just add extensions in the player files? Because, okay, here's what we would need to do. So because we're importing this, we would need to, is that the one we're importing? Or are we importing this one? Yeah, because we're importing this one, we would need to modify it to use import extensions like this. But now this conflicts with the TS config that doesn't want import extensions. But basically, we would have to update it here, and then we can go into these two files. Like that. And we'd have to update that too. So basically we'd have to update it everywhere. Because it's not just the top level import, it's everything that imports as well. Okay. I think we'll do this next time, but basically the beginning of the stream next time is going to be adding import extensions everywhere. That way we won't need a separate TS config. Yeah, exactly, Cody. Yeah, we're just gonna add the extensions, but not today because I don't feel like it. That's what we're gonna do next time. Is we'll add extensions everywhere in the code base, so that way we can do the thing. But what that means is right now we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this LL thing. I'm done for today. We can't do pagination until the rest of the code base is at like 75% test coverage. To do, use LL after import extensions added everywhere. But that means in our onboarding test, we can't do this. So we're just going to hard code it for now. But I recommend learning Svelte or Vue as a second framework. Probably Svelte. I used to recommend Vue, but Svelte has. I mean, at the end of the day, like the fact that Svelte doesn't have a virtual DOM is really cool. I would say the developer experience of Svelte and Vue is very similar. Might be a bit better in Svelte. I've used Cypress before, yeah. All right, I need to make sure I get that button text right. Well, not quite. Here, here, here. Let's go. To do, replace with translated string after imports are working. Yeah, exactly. And the Svelte documentation is really good. I mean, the Vue documentation is also really good. But if you check out the Svelte tutorial, is that the same thing? Are these different? I guess these are different. But yeah, it's super easy to go through the tutorials here. And honestly, if you don't feel like going through a tutorial, click on examples, and then this just has simple little one-off examples of all the things that you might want to do in Svelte. So yeah, the Svelte docs are really good. Okay, at this point, our test should be passing now. Yeah, so we do have the locale set to English. That's why this will work for now, and it should work on the CI server and anyone else's machine, because in our playwright config we do have locale set to English. Test out does not exist. That makes sense. We removed it. We need to fix our package.json. So if I change the locale, the test would fail. Yeah. So if we, well, right now, no, because all of the translations fall back to English anyways. But eventually, when other people add translations, then they would fail. If we didn't set the locale to be English during the test. So basically, when the tests run, regardless of what machine you're on, the tests are always going to set the locale to English. Okay. So now we have to go back and add the .ts on all of our base fixtures imports. Yeah, but then TypeScript complains about that. And then we need to add the allow TS extensions, but then doesn't the allow doesn't this break elsewhere? Yeah, what's up, Judge Sheila? I've been doing a lot of thinking today. Cannot find module utils. I guess that makes sense. One more time. That's possible, Farshid, but yeah, that's possible. Because yeah, you're totally right. Because right now our onboarding tests are basic. This is the first time we're actually changing the state of the user. By clicking this button, it actually sets the user to onboarded, which means if we had a test that depended on the user being onboarded, it couldn't run until after this test. So yeah, there possibly will be a race condition, but we're gonna handle that later because I'm done for today. Why did so much change? Let's see. Oh, that makes sense. We added the Istanbul plugin. Oof. I just gave you a mini heart attack. Do you mean because of the testing? Because of the testing? All right. Oh, because I said the word onboarding. I see. I see. So hopefully this is good. I think I'm not going to merge this PR yet because there's more work I want to do. Right. Next time we need to add the TS file extensions everywhere. We also want to set this up so it shows the coverage report in a on GitHub for CI. Yeah, exactly, Veeb. I mean, we followed. First of all, shouts out to Hasib Majid because this blog post, it pretty much helped us. I mean, there's a couple of things we had to do slightly differently, but good blog post. Here's the thing, it's like maybe it will one shot it, but also maybe we'll sit here debugging for 30 minutes because everything breaks. So I'm good for now. Good for now. So I'll push that branch up. We'll create a PR, but I'm not going to merge it in because next time we'll do all the extra stuff. When I pick it back up, yeah. So next time, maybe. Next time, we could be done in 5 minutes next time. Oh. Wait, did you do it to the whole code base, code brains? So this is what ChatGPT generated. And then it went through and added the .ts everywhere. I mean, definitely. So share this with me, or like open an issue maybe and link to the script that you made, because we can maybe use this next time. Because yeah, there are a couple of different scenarios. You have the relative path import that needs to add it, and then you also have the $ import. Seems fine though. Seems fine. Prediction? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, did I commit this auth.json thing? Dang it. Did I? Maybe not. No. That has to do with the user on board. Okay. Great. Good. Very good. If you all want to see the code I wrote today, it's on this PR. But like I said, next time we'll work on it a bit more. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Support me. Subscribe over on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Sub with Prime. Join my mailing list. What else? Find all the other ways to support me. Go to coding.garden/support. 101 ways to support me. If you don't support me, I won't be able to do this anymore. And we are potentially in the dying days of Coding Garden. June 9th it could potentially be one of the last regular streams. I don't think Coding Garden will ever go away fully, but I might have to. I won't be able to do it full time anymore after that date, pretty much. Oh yeah, and buy my course. That's another way to support me as well. I have a course on React that you can check out. And also tell your friends, basically. If you know somebody that would enjoy my content, let them know about Coding Garden. Have them tune in. Maybe they'll support me too. I will be live. I guess the schedule is... actually, no, the schedule should work. But I'll be live again on Monday. Yeah, so Monday, we're going to try to do another content stream. we might pick up where we left off last Monday and do like the autocomplete UI, but try to make more uh try to make YouTube videos out of it. What's gonna happen in June? I'll just bring it down to like maybe 2 streams a month, if that. That's about it. I mean, if anything, like that could be a thing. Like, if people know that I'm only going to be live twice a month, they might know that, or that might be like, oh, well, I know this is the day I'm going to tune into Coding Garden. I don't know, because I'm not making any money, Sean. Yeah, I'm just not making any money. That's mainly it. And it's okay. Like I don't feel like talking about it right now, but honestly, Monday, we might even make Monday a community day. We'll have a heart to heart. We'll talk about it. I'll show you the balance sheet. I'll show you my QuickBooks. I don't have QuickBooks, but we'll talk about it on Monday. But in the meantime, let's go on a raid. Yeah, I'll potentially try to find a job. I don't know what kind of job though. Because I Tim's on trying to recruit me. Honestly, I'm gonna be looking probably for like a developer advocate role or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. You know what? If I just had more support, then I wouldn't have to talk about all this stuff. This is why Coding Garden needs to be R-rated. How would that change anything? Do you think more people would watch if I said more curse words? Yeah. And so that's the thing. Like, I don't want to be a consultant anymore. I don't want to do freelance. I honestly don't really even want to like write software. Like, I don't want to work on products. I'm kind of jaded on the software industry. So if I was a dev advocate, I would not have to necessarily work on a product. I could just advertise for someone else's product. I'd be a farmer if it paid well enough. I don't know. I'm sorry to end the stream on such a sad note. Appreciate that, Irosum. I think I would too. I mean, especially because I have a following and I'm good at streaming on Twitch and stuff like that. A dev advocate basically is the salesperson for like APIs or SDKs. So like, for example, there's a dev advocate at Discord whose job it is to help developers learn about the Discord API, and they potentially like go to conferences and stuff like that to just give talks, and basically their whole job is getting developers onboarded and familiar with the Discord API. Yeah, kind of like marketing and sales for developers. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did I consider getting sponsors? No, but maybe. Yeah, because in a way, I'm basically a dev advocate for all the things that I try, right? But it's just more of an honest opinion, right? Because I'm not employed by Svelte or SvelteKit. So everything you see me do is like, it's my direct opinions, you know? I thought you were making bank. No, I'm not. But if you take a look on the Coding Garden archive, if you look at the member drives we did, I did a really long one. But at the beginning of the member drives, oh, you know what? It's actually on my main channel under live streams. The first one that I did. This one. If you watch the beginning of this stream or the beginning of this stream, I talk about in detail like how much money I'm making. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, check out either of these streams. Like honestly, I talk about it multiple times, but I am not making bank. Why am I jaded in the industry? Code sucks. Like everybody's code sucks. Nobody cares about the code. Pretty much everywhere you work, there's always competing forces, right? It's like it needs to be on time, which means you can't spend the time writing good code, or there's a specific budget, which means, uh, again, you don't have the time or the budget to write good, decent code. And it happens all over the place. So, and music makes it. Thank you for that, tier one. Kodak says, I retired 4 years ago and I'm starting to get bored out of my mind. But I'm still burned out on the industry as a whole. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's beyond politics though, right? Because I care about what I do, like I'm a craftsman and I want to write good code and I want to like do my best to write maintainable code bases, but in when it comes down to it, like in the real world, like when you're working with a team and a company and you have a budget and a timeline, you can't always do that. And I think that's the main thing that I can't get over. Is Svelte my favorite? No, I would say Vue is probably still my favorite. They just have a marketing problem. And now everybody's all about signals, but Vue has been doing signals 6 years, 7 years. Yeah, all right, I gotta go. Again, follow me over on YouTube. Watch all the videos. Just keep clicking on them and watching them. Follow on Twitter. We have a Discord if you want to come hang out over there. Also, I have a mailing list. I send go live notifications and weekly updates, so sub to that. And that's it. Okay, for real this time, we're gonna go on a raid. All the raid messages are there. All right, I'll see you all on Monday. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.